Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar sharing, featuring the holistic and interdisciplinary educational pathways, global exploration, and career opportunities that you can look forward to here at NUS. I'm Alex, and I'll be your MC for today. Thank you for taking time to join us. The sharing you will hear this morning will be jointly presented by the Dean of Admissions, Professor Gosei Song, Associate Provost of Integrated Education, Associate Professor Wong Loke, Associate Vice President of the Global Relations Office, Associate Professor Lam Sao Kim, and Deputy Director of the NUS Centre for Future Ready Graduates, Ms. Lee Shin Yin. After their presentations, there will be a Q&A segment with our speakers. If you have any questions, we would greatly appreciate if you could please write them down in the Q&A tab below, and we will answer them towards the Q&A segment. Thank you for your patience. Please allow me to introduce our speakers. Professor Gosei Song is the Dean of Admissions at the National University of Singapore, NUS. A mathematician by training, he received his BA Honours degree from the University of Oxford in 1988 and his MSc and PhD degrees from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor in 1990 and 1992, respectively. He joined NUS's Department of Mathematics in 1994. He is highly passionate about education and has received numerous teaching awards, including the University Outstanding Educator Award in 2009. His research interests are on the theory and applications of wavelets, approximation theory, and harmonic analysis. And he also participates in interdisciplinary research involving the practical use of mathematics. Associate Professor Wong Loke is the Associate Provost, Integrated Education at NUS, and the Vice Dean of Education at the Faculty of Dentistry. After graduating with his Bachelor of Dental Surgery degree from NUS, Prof. Wong worked in the Health Promotion Board for over 10 years, where he was engaged in clinical dental services for the school-going population and health promotion efforts across the lifespan. Following his postgraduate training in dental public health, Prof. Wong returned to teach part-time in his alma mater in 2003. A decade later, he joined the university full-time, where he is actively engaged in the delivery of the Bachelor of Dental Surgery program. In the Faculty of Dentistry, Prof. Wong anchors the teaching in dental public health and behavioral science, as well as contributes to research in various areas, including oral health and educational pedagogy. More recently, Prof. Wong, in his role as Associate Provost, is looking into how academic programs and informal out-of-classroom curricula can complement one another to offer students an enhanced holistic educational experience in higher education. Associate Professor Lam Sao Kim is Associate Vice President, Global Relations at the University of Singapore. She is a faculty member of the Department of Real Estate at NUS Business School, as well as a resident fellow at Ridgeview Residential College. Prior to her current appointment, Associate Professor Lam served as Assistant Dean of Communications and Development at the former School of Design and Environment from 2018 to 2021, and Academic Director of the Global Relations Office from 2021 to 2023. Specializing in real estate finance and securitization, Prof. Lam is an acclaimed educator with multiple teaching excellence awards to her name. Her research interests cover the areas of housing and land policy, index construction, as well as green finance. Beyond academia, Prof. Lam's contributions extend to the public and private sectors, both domestically and internationally. She developed the official suite of indices for Singapore's housing sector and has shared her expertise with various organizations, including Citibank, GIC, Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Housing, and Singapore's Urban Redevelopment Authority. Associate Professor Lam currently sits on the Ministry of Law's Land Acquisition Appeals Board. A former ASEAN and British Commonwealth scholar, Prof. Plum graduated with a BSc Estate Management Honours degree from NUS. She later obtained a Master of Land Economy from the University of Aberdeen in 1989 and a PhD in Business Administration, Finance and Real Estate from the University of California, Berkeley in 1996. Ms. Lee Shin Yin is the Deputy Director of the Centre for Future Ready Graduates at NUS. She leads the Life Skills Development team and oversees the career advisory teams at the School of Computing and the College of Humanities and Sciences. In this role, she leads the design and delivery of a suite of life skills programs, as well as serves as a career advisor in the School of Computing. Prior to joining CFG, Shin was already an active volunteer in CFG programs, including the Global Mentorship Program, Women's Professional Development, and Comms Lab. Prior to joining NUS, Shin spent almost 20 years in the banking and finance industry. After graduating with a degree in chemical engineering from Imperial College London, she started a career with UBS Investment Bank in London. She later joined Pictet Asset Management, where she spent 15 years, latterly as Chief Executive Officer of Pictet Asset Management in Singapore. Before joining Pictet, Shin spent a year as the Program Director of SEO London, a non-profit organization which serves university students from underrepresented backgrounds. Without further ado, let us begin the session. Prof, go please.
Thank you, Alex, for the introduction, and a very warm welcome to NUS to all our participants in today's webinar. It is my great pleasure to have the opportunity to host this webinar on academic excellence, global exposure, internship opportunities, as well as holistic development with my esteemed colleagues from the various units of the university. And let me get my slides up and then let's get going. As mentioned, this is a rather unique webinar in the sense that you are going to have a feel and experience a holistic spectrum of development opportunities that we have for you, not just as academically, but also from global perspective about career preparations, as well as holistic development. And let me first give you a brief overview about academic excellence and about what are the degree programs that we offer to you. Now, just for a snapshot, what we have here is that let's give you an overview about NUS. NUS is a research-intensive, comprehensive university. And this is every year we take in more than 7,000 undergraduate students. NUS is Singapore's first and largest university. If you look at the logo on the top right-hand corner of the screen, you saw NUS 120. And last year, we celebrate our 120th anniversary. And we are continuing our celebration all the way until June this year. In terms of QS World University ranking, we're very pleased and humble that by the fact that we were ranked number 8 in the world 3 times in a row from 2024, 2025, and 2026. And we are also ranked considered number 1 in Asia. In terms of academics, we offer a wide variety of programs, more than 60 bachelor's degree programs to suit your passion and aptitude. And we have expertly curated common curriculum focusing on interdisciplinary learning. Like I said, the university experience is more than just academic. We have what we call NUS One. We have a very vibrant and diverse student life, which my colleague, Prof. Wong Loke, will talk about. Then, after that, we will talk about global exposure opportunities, where my colleague, Professor Lam Sao Kim, will talk about as well. And then, in terms of employability, Then my colleague from the Center for Future Ready Graduates, Deputy Director Shin will talk about, and we are ranked number 10 consistently for global employability. And what are the undergraduate degree programs that we offer? Now, if you look at this list here, this is a long list of more than 60 different degree programs. And on the application forms, you will get to make 8 choices of a single degree program, plus another 8 choices of multidisciplinary degree, the multidisciplinary program. So for the 8 single degree programs, you can choose any of these on the list. Now, in order to provide more flexibility for students, we introduce common admissions program, humanities and sciences, engineering, business administration, common computer science programs. All these are color-coded, and how it works is that, for example, if a student pick a humanities and sciences common admission program, which is color-coded in purple, then the student can pick any of these majors, whether is it from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences or Faculty of Science, color-coded in purple. And there are no further selection. And throughout the candidature, within the first 4 semesters, if the student decided to change the major, we allow the student to do this with no further selection. So this actually gives students maximum flexibility. And there are programs that is color-coded in blue, and those are the ones that you apply directly because these are boutique programs. And if you're interested in design engineering, we have designs majors like architecture, industrial design, landscape architecture. We also have common admission under engineering. You can pick any of these majors under engineering. Traditional engineerings like electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, they are under these majors to be selected. More modern ones like biomedical engineering, or one of those that we've introduced last year, robotics and machine intelligence, that is also under this common admission engineering program. NUS Business School, which I color-coded in green, offers 9 different majors. You just need to apply for the business administration common admission program, and you can pick any of them, including accountancy, finance, real estate. School of Computing has a common admission for computer science. So there are 2 majors under it. One is artificial intelligence, the other is computer science. And artificial intelligence major was introduced last year. And there are a few others that is you apply directly. And we have professional schools like medicine, dentistry, law. We even have a music school. And if you're interested in healthcare, you can apply for nursing or pharmacy. Now, what is the hallmark of the NUS education? How do we deliver an academic excellence kind of program to you? Now, typically for an NUS education, a student will take a total of 4 years, a total of 40 courses. So on average, a student will take 10 courses a year. Now, we split these 40 courses into 3 baskets. The first basket is what we call a common curriculum of 10 to 13 courses. Our common curriculum is specially tailored for students within that faculty. College of Design and Engineering has 1 set of common curriculum. Humanities and Sciences has another. Business School and also a School of Computing, they have their own set of common curriculum that's suitable for them. Then the major requirements ranges from 15 to 20 courses. Now, some students may feel that 15 to 20 courses are not enough. Not to worry. We did it by design because we want to set aside 10 to 12 courses of unrestricted electives to give you full ownership of what you want to do. There is flexible pathway that if you want to go deep into a certain discipline, you are very passionate about, let's say, physics. You want to go deep into physics. Major requirements, 15 courses, unrestricted electives, you can take another 12 courses on physics. That gives you 27 courses of physics. That is a possibility. But if you want to have multiple competencies like a double major, a second major, you want to have a minor, all these are there for you. Because we are a comprehensive university, we allowed you to actually take courses from one school to the other school. And that brings us to an interdisciplinary approach of your learning. And we couple this with experiential learning, where internship plays a very important role. And let me just illustrate briefly about these flexible and multiple pathways. Suppose that we have a student who is very interested in engineering. The student applied for a common admission engineering program. The student wanted to embark on our newly launched major last year, robotics and machine intelligence. Then the student in the first year will take the common curriculum of the engineering major. First 2 years, the engineering common curriculum of the College of Design and Engineering, plus 20 courses of robotics and machine intelligence. He still have another 10 courses to do anything that he desired. It doesn't have to be in design engineering. But if the student wants to go deep in the robotics and machine intelligence, he can actually use the unrestricted elective space entirely on robotics and machine intelligence. That gives students a deep specialists in robotics and machine intelligence. But robotics and machine intelligence essentially built on artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence actually runs on big data. The student realized that big data is very important. Data analytics skills is very important. So the student can actually choose to use the unrestricted electives, 10 courses, and do a second major in data analytics offered by the Faculty of Science in the College of Humanities and Sciences. That is possible. Then the student will still graduate in 4 years with a double major. But another possibility is that the student wants to know some data analytics but doesn't want to do a second major. He can always do a minor in data analytics, 5 courses. Still have another 5 courses to do anything that the student desire. That gives a major minor combination. But there's nothing to stop the student from doing a second minor. If the student, after studying robotics and machine intelligence, study data analytics, has a nice business idea, he wants to be an entrepreneur, he can go to the NUS Business School and do a minor in entrepreneurship. So the student has a single major plus 2 minors. All these are possible. And we are constantly innovating and we're constantly rolling out new offerings. Like this year in AY 2026, we're going to offer a new degree program, Geospatial Intelligence. Now, this is what I call a cross-disciplinary program, where you actually have 2 disciplines coming together. Now, what is geospatial intelligence? Now, basically, this is about analyzing and obtaining insight from satellite images, aerial photographs, maps and geographical data, and location-based data to get insight. These are very important and useful for defense work, urban planning, environmental management, maritime operations, and so on and so forth. And the 2 disciplines that we are crossing is geography and computing. Something that students may find that this is quite surprising, but in this modern world, in this VUCA world, this is what we actually need. Crossing 2 disciplines together. But this is not just crossing 2 disciplines together, we integrate the 2 disciplines for you as well. And this is available as one of the choices on your application form. And if you want to further enhance your study, how about considering NUS College? NUS College is the undergraduate honors college of NUS, and this can be used to complement more than 60 different majors. Now, how it works is that the student will still do the primary major in the home faculty. Let's say the student has a primary major in economics in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences under the College of Humanities and Sciences. Then the student will have an economics major, and that is untouched. Then what happens here is that NUS College has its own rigorous interdisciplinary curriculum that is small class teaching, 20 to 25 students, seminar style, and there's a total of 13 courses for the student to take with a residency requirement as well, staying on campus. So there's a total of 13 courses, and the team-based project is actually the academic units is actually equivalent to that of 2 courses. So effectively 14 courses. Then the NUS College curriculum will replace part of the common curriculum of the home faculty, and there will still be space for unrestricted electives for students in, let's say, economics, want to do a a minor in statistics, that is still possible. So all these are possibility for you to stretch yourself. And another thing that some of you may be thinking in terms of academic excellence, I love research. I want to embark on research. Is that possible? Now, in terms of QS World University ranking by subject, NUS has 22 subjects in global top 10 and 36 subjects in global top 20. Our research strength can be harnessed by our undergraduate students. And what they do is that they can approach one of the professors in their home faculty and say they want to do a research together with the professor. Then the professor will craft out a research project, and this can still be counted as one of the courses that the student will take in their candidature. So I'll stop here for the time being, and I'll pass the time to my colleague, Prof. Wong Loke, to show you more about NUS 1, about how NUS has a development opportunity holistically beyond academics. Over to you, Loke.
Thank you very much, Sei Song. Just allow me to share my slides. So a very good morning and a very warm welcome to this webinar for today. Many of you are actually entering a very exciting season of your life as you plan your higher education journey. So as you plan your higher education journey, perhaps one of the questions that we might want to ask is really, how do we envisage our higher education journey to be like? And what is our goal at the end of the day of a university education? So allow me to share with you a couple of thoughts which might allow you to kind of envisage the future of your higher education journey. So during the course of our university education, we certainly look forward to journeying with all our students to develop them as well-rounded individuals. What do we mean by a well-rounded individual? So first of all, knowledge mastery as well as domain expertise in your chosen field of discipline is important because that will allow you to deepen your knowledge, your understanding of your chosen field of study. And earlier on, I think Professor Goh has given us a very comprehensive overview of the diverse range of academic programs that are available, the different pathways by which we can deepen our knowledge as well as our domain expertise. And beyond single discipline programs, I think one of the unique features of many of NUS's programs really promote interdisciplinarity, which allows students from different disciplines to come together and to study together. And that's important in the light of the many complex sort of issues that we will need to address in the future. But beyond knowledge mastery as well as domain expertise, there are also many other sort of life skills and skill sets which are equally important to help us flourish and be able to contribute to the wider society. So what are some of these skill sets, for example? So first of all, I think interpersonal skills are critical. And this is where we learn to work together collaboratively with others through effective communication and engagement. And that will also give us the opportunity to lead as well as influence teams by which we will be encountering in the workplace in the future. Apart from interpersonal skills, the ability to pick our intellectual curiosity is also important. And this will give rise to our abilities to develop our critical thinking skills, innovation, and this is especially important in light of how knowledge is changing so quickly and how we therefore need to engage in self-directed continuing education and continuing learning for ourselves. Next, we also need to develop our own level of self-awareness. And in particular, this will then allow us to develop ourselves effectively as individuals. And one of the skill sets which is particularly important in this complex as well as ever-changing world is that of resilience and adaptability. How then do we pivot from situations to situations and yet be able to adapt accordingly? With all the knowledge mastery as well as domain expertise that we gathered through the academic programs and coupled with the different sort of life skills and skill sets that we've kind of developed over time, this will then allow us to contribute not only locally, regionally, but also globally as responsible citizens. So therefore, at the end of the day, a holistic education is what the university looks forward to provide all our students with. And it is precisely with this in mind that in NUS, our students' development is grounded on the NUS 1 philosophy. And what is this philosophy about? This philosophy really focuses on how we will provide opportunities for our students to develop themselves beyond the classroom, beyond the knowledge, sort of mastery and domain expertise, to holistically develop themselves as individuals. So we start this as early as first year. And right from the start, for all our freshmen, we believe in providing them with a smooth transition to university because a smooth start is important for all our students. And we do this through various ways, first of which is we have a comprehensive first year guide that we provide all our students with to help them navigate the different sort of milestones within their candidature as an undergraduate. The Freshman Orientation Program is another milestone program for all our Year 1 students because that's an opportunity for them not only to get to know the university as a whole, but also their friends and their peers who may be studying within the same course or who may also be living together in the same sort of accommodation on campus. We also have what we call the Transition to Higher Education Program. And this is what we extend to all our first year students, comprising different courses. And these courses will help our students navigate the higher education sort of scene and landscape. Courses including learning to learn within a higher education setting. Other courses include, for example, introduction to the use of AI, as well as maintaining mental well-being and social well-being as well, which are all critical for us to begin our journey in the university. Beyond the classrooms, we will also provide many different opportunities for our students to develop themselves, to engage in activities that go beyond their chosen discipline of study. And we do this through a three-pronged sort of approach as we seek to provide our students with that holistic educational experience. And what does this three-pronged approach look like? Essentially, first of all, we want to provide opportunities for all our students to engage and explore, to engage in different activities which will pique their interests. So maybe our students will have opportunities to take part in a sport or in art, which they may not have had the opportunity to do so in the past, but which they're interested in. Beyond engaging and exploring, we also look forward to helping all our students grow as well as develop themselves and empower them with new skills, for example. So to build their capacities as well as to develop their potential beyond the classroom as well. Last but not least, we also would like all our students to contribute back to society through their engagements with the larger community. And this is where they can impact and serve the communities in which they are living in, working in. So therefore, this is a three-pronged approach by which we seek to provide all our students with the opportunity for holistic education, holistic experiences. So to help our students engage and explore in different activities, the university has over 230 sports, arts, as well as other interest groups. And really, there will be something for everyone to pick their interests. Beyond these activities that happen across the university, across the week as well, we will also have opportunities for students to develop themselves personally as well as to help them develop their potential to the fullest. We focus quite a bit on life skills, teaching them how to develop their engagement skills, communication skills, interpersonal skills as well. We also have what we call mini workshops, Jumpstart Minis, which our colleagues will introduce different sort of areas of expertise, for example, in the area of immersive technology, where we will introduce students, for example, to 3D printing technologies. And this will really expose our students to a wider range of skill sets that will accompany what they learn in the classroom. Beyond that, we also have mentoring programs which seek to provide our students with exposure, experiences to the real world sort of working setting in which they will graduate into. So later on, my colleague from the Centre for Future Ready Graduates will elaborate a little bit more on some of these programs. Beyond our shores, we also provide our students with ample opportunities to be exposed to what's happening around the world. And we would do this through our sort of exchange programs, both summer and winter exchange programs, research attachments, as well as the NUS Overseas College, which really focuses on entrepreneurship to help our students understand a little bit more about entrepreneurship. And in a while, my colleague from the Global Relations Office, Professor Lam, will also speak to you more about some of these global exchange programs. Career readiness is something which we cherish and we value, and we certainly journey on with our students along the way. And this is by way of helping them develop themselves professionally to be ready for the workforce. And we do have various programs which the Centre for Future Ready Graduates will be elaborating a little bit on as well, by way of the Career Catalyst and the Career Booster programs. These are initiatives which certainly help our students to be future ready with the necessary skill sets as well as the necessary attributes to enter into the real world workforce upon graduation. We also have opportunities for our students to engage with the larger community through the sort of skills that they have learned and picked up during their time within the university. And this allows them to engage with the wider community, both within as well as outside of the university. So within the university, we have what we call the Mosaic program, which allows our students to engage in different activities, learning more about different cultures, and allowing them to engage in hands-on activities to experience different cultures as well, broadening their appreciation of these wider range of cultures beyond the university, which they may be exposed to later on after graduation as well. Beyond NUS, we also have what we call the Teach Singapore initiative, where our students serve as mentors to help the younger generation. And this is where they provide academic guidance to the young and allows them to engage in mentoring of the young as well. In terms of student support, we have a variety of initiatives which help our students as they come onto the higher education journey. What we have, first of all, is what we call pit stops or peer student supporters. Pit stops are basically locations that are dispersed around the university, which provide our students with opportunities to take part in activities, which will help them take a break from the sort of hustle and bustle of their daily activity. And so this provides an opportunity for them also to engage and interact with their peers from across the university. Apart from peer student supporters, we also do have student wellness managers who journey with our students and help them sort of develop themselves in terms of their student-centric sort of social emotional programs to help them along the way. For our international students, we do also have different programs coordinated by the International Student Coordinating Office, where it helps our students to assimilate into the local system and also provide opportunities for our local as well as international students to connect and interact with one another. So these are some of the initiatives which the university provides our students in terms of support to journey with them during their undergraduate education with us. Apart from the diverse range of activities that we have in store for our students, we also do provide a vibrant sort of residential life for all our students within NUS as well, if they choose to consider on-campus living. So within the on-campus living options, we have different types of on-campus living opportunities. We have the halls. So the halls essentially are very energetic and very tradition-rich. And so each of them will be abuzz with different sporting, different arts activities. And this is really an opportunity for our students to live on campus and build that very strong sense of community, that strong sense of camaraderie amongst one another. Apart from the halls of residences, we also do have what we call the residential colleges. The residential colleges are where the living and the learning takes place together. So within the residential colleges, our students will have the opportunity to pursue academic seminars, academic courses as well, together with their peers who are living within the same college. And each college will have a specific theme, a specific focus on which the academic programs will be anchored. Other than the halls as well as the residential colleges, we've also got houses. Houses essentially provide an opportunity for students to come together to nurture that sense of belonging, where they can also work together to turn ideas into action for meaningful campus life activities. Apart from that, we also do have student residences, which are largely provide an opportunity for a diverse community of students to interact together as well as to live and experience the on-campus sort of residence options. So residential colleges, if you're interested in it, just to highlight that the applications will open soon, and the application period will run from 9th of March to 6th of April. And like I mentioned earlier on, each college will have a different theme, a different focus, ranging from sustainability, community engagement, systems thinking, as well as artificial intelligence or AI. So if you'd like to have more information about the residential colleges, we will be having a webinar that's coming up on the 2nd of March at 2 o'clock. And this is where we will be interacting with some of our RC student residents, and they will get to share with us about their residential experiences, what led them to choose an RC or residential college, and how the experience has been. So if you would like to attend the seminar, the residential college seminar, we welcome you to join us. Otherwise, we also look forward to seeing all of you at the open house, which takes place next week, physically on the NUS campus. So with that, I will hand over the time now to Prof. Lam, who will share a little bit more about the global opportunities that lie ahead for all our NUS students. Over to you, Prof. Lam.
Well, thank you. Let's see. So let me just get this going. Right. Well, welcome everybody, and I'm so delighted to be able to talk to you about the global opportunities that our students will be able to explore, right, when they come on board. My office is called the Global Relations Office. We've been set up for some time, and the thinking here is that we try to bring the world to NUS, and we want to bring our students out to the world. So let's get started. Yeah. One of the vision statements for NUS is that we want to be a global university. And that means that we want to imbue our students with this global mindset. So a little bit more about why I think it is good for you all to go abroad. This is a really good opportunity for each one of us to engage in personal development, because we offer to you all kinds of networking opportunities with your peers abroad, with also faculty, and you get to see something that you would not otherwise see if you just spent all your 4 years here at NUS. Now, when you start to go abroad, you will learn a lot about yourself. I think you go on a journey to develop your interpersonal skills and also cross-cultural communication skills. It's amazing what that experience will do, because it broadens your worldview through exposure to the different cultures and ways of life. We have found, and there's journals that have looked at the research about people who go abroad, and they come back really enriched. And I think that kind of wealth that you get when you go for a learning opportunity abroad stays with you for a long time. On top of that, I think you can also consider learning new languages. You will improve your proficiency. Nothing like being, going abroad, having to figure out how to move around and navigate for you to actually understand, right, how to communicate better with people. Now, another thing about global opportunities is that because we know of the benefits to students, it actually enhances your employability when you are trying to look for positions. Most of the jobs that we have now require that kind of worldview. And so developing, right, yourself through a learning abroad opportunity, I think it's very good in enhancing how attractive you are with future employers. I think Prof. Go had mentioned before that when it comes to global employability, NUS ranks very highly. And we think one of the reasons why that is the case is because of the holistic development we offer to our students, and one of them through a go study abroad opportunity. Okay, how many programs do we have? One of the things that was in Prof. Wong's slide, I think, was about studying abroad. Now, we have programs in at least 350 partner universities. When we say partner universities, these are universities with which NUS has established agreements, deep agreements for how we're going to do the exchanges. And in the formal setup where we have agreements, at least 350 partner universities and growing, and in over 40 countries, right? About 6 continents. And so this is really rich in terms of what it's going to offer you. Now, what are the programs? So let's drill down. The first one, which is our flagship, right, will be the one I'm sharing soon. They range from the programs that we have, short-term ones, starts from 2 weeks, and then they go all the way to 1 year. Now, why is it that we have different tenures? Because I think we want to be able to cater to different needs. It also will cater to different interests. Are you interested more in the academic component? Are you interested in the internship component, entrepreneurship, etc.? Right? And also the research component has been shared with you. So let me drill down into the kinds of programs that we have. So the first one that I want to talk about is the Student Exchange Program, or the SEP, the acronym that we tend to use. Now, what does this offer you? As a flagship exchange program that we started many years ago, it offers you this opportunity to live and study abroad for 1 to 2 semesters at about 350 universities out there. Yeah. So what you're going to do is, after you apply and get this, you immerse yourself really in a new culture, a new learning environment, and you can also pick up courses that match to what you are doing already in NUS. You recall what Prof. Go was sharing to you about the kinds of exposure that we have. So what you can do is you can read courses offered at the partner universities that enrich your major, your minor, or even just general electives. Okay, because we allow this mapping, we've developed this program where what you study abroad can earn credits, right? Transfer back to NUS. You are not losing any time, right? We picked these universities because they offer learning comparable to what we have here and sometimes stronger. So the time that you spend there will translate into credits that you can bring back to NUS and will get recognized here. Now, the best thing about the student exchange program is you pay no extra fees, right? The partner university will not charge you anything more. And all you do is just continue to pay NUS regular tuition fees. So what you need to take care of is just the stay component, getting there and staying at the foreign university. And later on, I'll share with you that for doing this, we actually provide all sorts of financial aid programs and scholarships and bursaries as well, right? Okay, so that's the student exchange program. I think in Prof. Wong's slide, there was something about summer winter programs. Now, these are of shorter duration. The semester exchange, by the name, semester means you spend at least one semester, sometimes a year abroad. But the summer winter programs offer you 2 to about 12 weeks long of opportunities to take a course in, again, one of the universities that we have arrangements with. Now, you are able to pick anything that you consider as enriching for yourself, and depending on what you take, credit transfer. So, of course, if you go for a ski course, just joking, you don't expect that to be transferred back to NUS. But if you're taking something that develops your skill sets, or develops an extension of your learning, then of course there's a possibility that the time that you spend there in the summer and winter program will translate again to credit that's recognized in NUS. Now, the best thing about the summer winter programs is that they're offered during our summer vacation or the short 1 month winter vacation. And the idea here is that it will not disrupt your academic schedule during term time at NUS. So you gain the overseas exposure, you can do a lot of other things, but at the same time, you are not going to delay, right, any of your local studies here. You make the most of your vacation. I think we have found that the students have been very actively participating in the winter programs, because even during the December break, they want to do something meaningful and off they go. And we have been developing a lot of programs for our students to make full use of these vacation periods to engage in some learning abroad. Now, other than that, we also mentioned research attachments earlier at NUS. You can also pursue the research attachments elsewhere. These range from 3 weeks to about 1 semester. Now, the idea here is for you to conduct research under the mentorship of faculty at reputable universities. So these programs are sort of designed to make sure that you are getting top-notch exposure to some of the fields that we believe are very strong and offered by faculty at some of these universities, include places like ETH, etc. You should certainly explore this if you have a mind to further yourself as a researcher. Now, these can be credit-bearing. The idea here is that you are going to develop a very deep understanding of the concepts you learned in class, and you are going to be supervised by, I think, very good mentors elsewhere. So this is very rich for people who want to develop a career in academia or in the research line. Now, moving on, one of the things that has been a flagship program for NUS is this thing called the STEER program, the acronym for Study Trips for Engagement Enrichment. While we can offer semester-long exchange at some partner universities, there are emerging markets or there are places where we want to test out because they have just offered something new. So these short programs, typically of 2 weeks duration, what we do is we take the student to explore what we call EMs, emerging markets, things have just cropped up, and these programs are very immersive. They also develop your social cultural intelligence, and we curate them with faculties on NUS or with certain providers to give you learning through usually thematic lectures, very, I think, in-depth site visits. You interact with the local community. It could be NGO-based, it could be private sector-based. And this is going to give you an insight into a market that you may not have opportunity to learn otherwise. For the STEER trips that we have, we provide funding, quite rich funding, to support your development either within Asia or anywhere else. So let me give you some examples of the STEER trips that we've conducted. So last year, a market that I think students need to learn about would be, of course, India. It's a very dynamic economy. But students may not be able to, as I said, devote one semester or 1 year to exchange programs there. So when we take our students for, say, STEER India, right, we want to expose them to India's socioeconomic development. What is the demographic there? What kind of enterprises do we have in India? What opportunities do you think you'll have if, let's say, later on you want to start a business in India? Now, from the pictures, what we did for this program was we worked with a private university over there called OP and we took a bunch of students to explore, right, this kind of scene, the academic scene, as well as other opportunities. Now, this one, OP went out of the way to make sure that our students have a very rich opportunity. So the students had cultural immersion. They also engaged with our missions, Singapore missions in India, in particular in Delhi. As you can see, they even exposed them to the kind of CCA that OP Jindal has. We don't have pictures of them, but they were doing archery after the class time, and they were, even going for horse equestrian classes. So all this is there. And if you see the picture at the bottom, of course, no trip to India to me is complete unless we try to take you to see one of the 7 wonders of the world, right, which is the Taj Mahal at Agra. It is difficult to put into words about how that's going to transform the way you look at India, but I went there, felt that this was very beneficial to the students, and next thing you know, we're curating a program to take our students there. Okay, another one that just concluded is actually even more exciting, is STEER Ecuador. So this one, you think about Ecuador as an emerging market. We may not know much about it, but this was through one of our partner universities, which is the Universidad San Francisco de Quito, USFQ. We know that it was developing certain programs with Cornell. So what I did was my office supported this trilateral arrangement where our students joined the students from Cornell as well as from USFQ on a mission of learning about what Ecuador does. And this was sustainably themed, as you can see, exploring SDG 13, climate action. Okay, Ecuador right smack on the equator. So the students actually went to understand how just being on the equator, right? What is the geographical impact of being there? All right, so they brought in the physics learning about what it means to be on the equator. You can see some pictures. They went to all the reserves. It was a wonderful learning experience. On the bottom left, Ecuador is trying to develop the chocolate, I think, industry, and I think they're pushing this very well. It's very, very sustainable. So the students were tasting all the different chocolates and the flavors they're developing. The campus itself is actually very cosmopolitan. And when students went there, they probably realized that there's a lot that USFQ has learned from actually Asia, the developments in Asia. So you can see that some of these other countries, they actually look to Singapore and Asia as a model as well. Cornell is our partner, and so we do courses with Cornell, but this time this trilateral opportunity puts them in a different setting, and it truly enriches their learning abroad. So those are 2 of the STEER trips. I'm going to meet this group of people actually in mid-March to hear directly from them how they benefited and see how we can do more. And for this STEER trip, again, we try to give some financial support so that our students can go there. Okay, so beyond this, all right, there's one other exciting initiative, which is called the Southeast Asia Friendship Initiative. This is something that was developed and launched out of GRO, and we work very closely with the residential units that Prof. Wong and Loke just shared with you about. So all our residential units, right, they are able to conduct these courses under the SFI, right? These courses are typically 1 to 2 weeks long. They focus again on teaching students about SDGs or innovation and enterprise. All these are very important themes to NUS. They are all credit bearing, and again, we provide support to our students to go. Now, the important thing about the SFI is that we work with our friends in Southeast Asia to come up with very good programs where students learn about the local communities. They are going to be engaging in a lot of, I'd say, immersion with our peers, your peers from various universities in the region, and all with the intention of giving you that immersive learning experience, and you will see the kind of opportunities that Southeast Asia provides. It's a very dynamic region. Our region of the world, ASEAN, is one of the top 5 already in terms of economic size and development. So we must not ignore what is happening here. This is also something that the Singapore government strongly encourages our students to have exposure to. And I think we're unique among all the universities here in developing this kind of a friendship initiative to take our students out to Southeast Asia. Now, we're going to prepare you because we will have language courses and we will also have some thematic learning. And all our colleagues at the RUs who subscribe to this particular program, they will curate something that will give you exposure, the academic preparation before you go, and then after that, the experiential site visit. So we'll continue to strengthen this. We started the pilot in 2023. It's been well received, and we'll continue to develop this because we believe that this is something very unique, very special for our students. Okay. So when you come in, all that will be available to you. Now, we don't want any student to be denied the opportunity to have this global development experience due to any financial circumstances. So what we do is we have quite a lot of financial aid schemes. We also have various scholarships. We also try to get awards from our donors because we have a lot of donors who believe in the worth of this global exposure. And so they also offer schemes to try to help sustain what we're doing. And when you come in, we'll be able to share with you all these schemes. Even our partner universities and host countries, they also offer financial awards. Very exciting. I just met a party yesterday from Brazil. It's a foundation that's willing to help finance some of our students when they go abroad. And again, whenever we find these opportunities, we try to develop it, curate the program, and offer it to our students to take them there. So very exciting things on board. And I really hope that this enthuses you to come and join us. This is a picture of a sailing trip, an adventure trip that students have. Join us, explore the world. Last year alone, last academic year, we sent some 5,500 students out, and it is our intention to go even further. So I hope to welcome all of you personally to NUS when you come, and we'll be prepared to answer questions later on. Thank you. I'll hand over my time now to, I think, Shin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Lam. Let me just share my slides. I hope you can all see those clearly. So together with Professors Go, Wong, and Lam, we extend a very warm welcome to all the participants on this call, as well as to the ones who are watching the replay afterwards. I'm representing the Center for Future Ready Graduates, essentially the Careers Center here at NUS. But as you can see here from this title slide, we're not just preparing students for their first job, we're actually preparing them for their futures ahead. And so the approach that we take is not just for career development, it's actually, like Professor Wong says, much more for holistic development. So what we do as part of this responsibility is partner students along their entire career readiness roadmap, which you see represented schematically here. So at the bottom left, when students first arrive, of course, together with the support of NUS One's THE program, we also start to engage students as they first join NUS. Our foundational course, which I'll talk a bit more about later, is Career Catalyst. and really like a catalyst just to start some of these conversations and some of the thought processes that will be involved as students begin to prepare for careers ahead. We also encourage them all to meet their career advisors. We have career advisors serving every faculty within NUS, and we encourage them to meet us face to face so that all along their journey, they can make appointments with us and have that level of familiarity. We also encourage them to think not just about academics, but in their first year also to think beyond academics about CCA involvement, perhaps in sports, the arts, social events, volunteerism. And then in year two, we really start to think a little bit more about enabling students to gain industry experience and skills. There's been a lot of talk over the past few decades always about climbing the so-called career ladder. We encourage students to move away from just the career ladder, but think about building a skills ladder. What kind of skills are you trying to add to your portfolio? Perhaps some of those are technical skills, learning Python, for example, C++, C Sharp, data analysis, but they could also be soft skills. We offer a public speaking course called Comms Lab to encourage students to be more comfortable speaking in front of an audience because the professional journey will invariably involve some elements of that. We also encourage them to take some of our credit bearing as well as non-credit bearing workshops to develop their life skills further. And we look at life skills along three main domains. Firstly, in terms of character, understanding themselves. Do you have a good awareness of what your strengths are? Can you articulate what those are? Do you have a strong sense of mental resilience? Do you have a strong sense of personal values? And how do those values translate into professional ethics in the workplace? We also encourage students to think about how they think. Are you a critical thinker? Do you challenge problems that are presented to you? Do you challenge assignments? Are you curious about the world around you? Are you able to learn independently? And then the third domain is to think about how they interact with others. Part of that is communication skills, but it's not just that as well. It's how they engage with people who might be from very different backgrounds than themselves. It's about gaining global perspectives. And it's also about having a sense of responsibility to the community, to the nation, and to the wider world. In their second year, we also encourage students to join a mentorship program. We have a range of different mentorship programs available. Some are specialized and some are more general. But through these, students get one-to-one contact with industry professionals who can provide critical guidance at this early stage of their career exploration journeys. Then between years 2 and 3, we encourage students to, of course, take a pause, recalibrate, and take care of themselves as well. University can be a very demanding time. Sometimes students feel as though they're being pulled in many different directions, and it's important to take care of themselves as well. Then as they move into year 3, we encourage them to get more industry exposure, but also global exposure, and begin to plan their internship journeys as well. We offer some trips overseas, primarily to ASEAN, China, and India, and I'll talk a bit more about these later as well. We have further credit-bearing courses. You can see here Introduction to Decision-Making in Business, which targets non-business students. So they feel that they are also able to compete in some of the competitive industries where business school students have typically enjoyed a stronger advantage. We also help students understand how to be financially ready in the workplace. Do you know how to file your taxes? Do you know which part of your salary goes into CPF and what the employer does in matching? What about insurance? What about budgeting, managing debt? That's also part of being future ready. And then as students move into year 4, we have a credit-bearing course called Career Advancement, really the last push for them to be as career ready as possible for any chosen direction that they pursue, perhaps in the entrepreneurial space, through full-time employment, or also through lifelong learning. So starting first with our foundational program called Career Catalyst, this is a 2-unit program where we encourage students to just start some of these thought processes about career preparation. But we don't start with careers, we start with self-awareness. Can students understand what's really important to them when they start thinking about careers? What are the values that they hold true? What are their interests through different activities, different experiences that they had in the past. What's their personality, and could there be a better match for some roles rather than others? And what are the skills they have now, as well as the skills that they're looking to build in their time at university? We also talk about work values. What kind of environment are they looking for? Do they need a lot of flexibility? Do they want to use creative thinking? Do they want to use public speaking skills, for example, in the workplace? And that will all give them some clues as they start to explore their career journeys. From self-awareness, we then think a bit more about industry opportunities. What's available out there? What are the jobs that exist in the current job market? And could there be a good fit between the jobs and what they currently have? And only after that, we encourage them to start planning their roadmap here at NUS. They have 4 years, which at the beginning might seem like a long time, but it does require some intentional planning. Where would you like to do internships? If you have a faculty-led credit-bearing internship requirement, where would you like to fit that? What about summer school, winter school? Which programs would you like to join at CFG? Which recruitment events might you like to join? So it's a chance for students to start thinking about planning as well before we introduce them to the concept of resumes to represent their skills, their experiences to potential employers, and then also about interviews and networking. After Career Catalyst, we then start to connect students with industry. And part of this involves taking students out to these companies to visit them on site. You can see some of the pictures from some recent trips at UBS, Thermo Fisher, SPH Media, as well as Barclays Capital, where students can really see for themselves what the workplace looks like and start to think about whether this is the type of environment they'd like to live in. To work in. It's also a chance for them to meet company representatives and ask them their questions firsthand and get some of the answers to the burning questions they've had about what life really is like at some of these companies. It also opens their minds a bit more, broadens their horizons about companies and industries they might not have considered before. We have computing students who move into banking, frontline roles like trading. We have students from psychology who end up in luxury goods, for example. And these are not things that they might have considered at the very beginning, had it not been for a meaningful conversation they had with a company rep during one of the on-site visits. We also bring companies to campus. We have a flagship career fest held every semester. In fact, the most recent one was held just 2 weeks ago at University Town, the same location where open house will be held next week. 2 weeks ago at Career Fest, we had over 310 employers on campus. They sent their company reps again to have these conversations with our students, to explain about the internships and jobs available, and to answer their questions either about application processes as well as actually working in some of these roles at these companies. And that first-hand contact is really critical for our students to have a better understanding rather than just reading websites, Reddit or Glassdoor, for example. Actually meet these company reps. And that's also encouraging our students to start to network, because as you begin your career, you will realize how important your personal and professional networks are in helping you form that type of connection, gain more skills and exposure, and ultimately chart your path forward in your chosen direction. We, in fact, have more than 600 recruitment events apart from Career Fest throughout the academic year. Here you can see the logos of some of the companies that we've partnered with over the past academic year. So really a myriad of options that students can choose from. While they have a lot of academic commitments, we encourage them to start thinking about maybe 1 to 2 events they'd like to attend in any given week, just to start getting more used to the idea of meeting professional contacts and starting to network as well. We also take our students overseas. On the bottom left, you would have seen just the first snippet of the video that the students put together during their recent trip to Vietnam. This differs slightly from the steer trips that Professor Lam described earlier, because these trips are primarily to meet companies. We take students on 7 to 10-day trips to countries in ASEAN, China, and India, primarily to meet companies, to go on site to factories, to offices, and see what working culture is really like in these countries. Students on these trips will be visiting 1 to 2 companies per day, and they'll be asked to do an assignment at the end of it as well to summarize the learning that they've experienced over the course of this trip. Internships are a very important part of career exposure before graduation. In the 2024-25 academic year, there were almost 10,000 internships undertaken by NUS students. But importantly, we want students to do at least one internship during their time at NUS. There have been some headlines about students doing what's called internship stacking. We don't encourage internship stacking, particularly because that's not what employers are looking for. Employers are looking for relevant internship experience. They're not looking at the quantity of internships that you've undertaken. So if you can find one high quality internship, that's more than sufficient in order to have a strong application to many of these full-time roles. And as you can see, we're reaching close to full coverage of students embarking on at least one internship during their time at NUS. Internships allow students not only to gain real-world experience, applying the skills that they learned perhaps in a more theoretical environment to real-world challenges, and actually be part of teams that solve some of these challenges. But internships are also important because 40% of NUS students receive conversion offers, high priority offers from the internships that they've undertaken. For the students who have these offers, of course, their final year then is much more relaxed because they already have an offer in hand from a company that they know well, that they've already spent perhaps 12 weeks working in with colleagues that they already understand well. And this is an important part of just giving them a bit more self-confidence as they start their final years at NUS. We also have students who receive the full-time offer, but then decide actually they want to pursue a slightly different direction, perhaps further studies, but it still showed that they were able to gain that full-time offer from the internship that they undertook. And many of our students find these internships extremely useful in understanding whether that's really the career path that they wanted to pursue. So as students start to think about internships, we tell them about the different options that are available. Some faculties have internships which are graduation requirements, so we also help them to understand what those graduation requirements might be. On the CFG side, we also facilitate internships during the vacation period in Singapore as well as overseas through the Global Internship Program. And they can also embark in the NOC program facilitated by NUS Enterprise. So you can see on the right side typically where these internships take place, either through the summer vacation or through the year-end vacation, although through the faculty administered internships, some will take place during semester time as well. So really what CFG is trying to do is support our students, partner our students, but because it's a very large student body, some 50,000 undergraduate and postgraduate students, we do that through a combination of a high-tech as well as a high-touch approach. On the left side, you can see some of the tech tools that we have available. First, our Talent Connect portal, where students can view all the internships and full-time jobs available. We also have an AI-powered chatbot where students can get 24/7 support on any of their career-related questions. We have a different range of options available for them to practice numeracy tests, assessment tests, get some help with career matching, get real-time feedback on their resumes and interview performance, as well as virtual work experience programs, case preparation, and explore part-time work opportunities within NUS. On the high-touch side, we aim to meet our students face-to-face as much as possible. We meet them through the Career Catalyst program for undergraduate students, but also through internship briefings, graduate briefings, and the range of booster workshops that we offer our students over the course of the entire semester. And that high-touch approach is important. While we meet students in groups through some of our credit-bearing courses and through our non-credit-bearing career booster workshops, there are also students who need more targeted support, And for that, we have a dedicated career advisor for students from every faculty, as I mentioned. You can see here some of the testimonials that our students have been kind enough to share, but we want to be able to support students regardless of what their challenges might be. So if they're really just struggling at the moment to even identify a direction, come and talk to us. Start that conversation, and let's see if that conversation and some of the tools we have available will help enlighten your career exploration journey. But for those who are already very clear about the role, perhaps even the industry that they want, then they can speak to us about resume customization according to job descriptions and start doing mock interviews so that they're well prepared when the stakes are higher and they will really need to pass some of these interviews in these grueling processes. So that brings me to the end of the presentation. We'll look forward to meeting you at our in-person session next week. You can scan this QR code to find out more about CFG at next week's in-person event. And with that, I hand you over back to Professor Goh and Alex.
Okay, thanks very much, Prof. Wong, Prof. Lam, and Miss Lee. I think your sharing is really very, very useful because these are all very important topics about, global opportunities, career preparation, holistic development. So I noticed that there were quite a lot of questions already being answered behind the scene, but maybe the four of us should get together now and let's try to address some of these more pressing issues and more overarching issues. You know that there are a lot of student life activities, study abroad programs, internship. Now, in what ways do you think that this will contribute to the holistic development of students? Especially life skills, like what Prof. Wong just now mentioned about life skills, in terms of experiential learning, in terms of future readiness in the VUCA world. The world is complex. The problems of tomorrow, we have to prepare our students well. And so, Prof. Wong like to get started, and then maybe Prof. Lam and Miss Lee can chip in as well.
Sure, thank you. Thank you, Prof. Goh, for the question. I think what happens many times is that within the classroom setting during the academic programs, there will be opportunity to kind of sharpen and hone some of these life skills. Take, for example, interpersonal skills through project work and all that. You can develop those skills within the classroom. But I think what the outside of classroom opportunities provide will be an additional opportunity. And oftentimes when you take part in, for example, the broader range of student life activities, whether it's a sport or an art, oftentimes you will be working with people whom you may not know, people who don't pursue the same sort of academic program as yourself. And because of that, you get then the opportunity to widen your network. And that, in a way, will help you also sharpen your interpersonal skills, your engagement skills, and definitely broaden your sort of your base of friends and network, which oftentimes will become very useful after you've graduated as well. So I think at the end of the day, the diverse range of out-of-classroom activities that come by way either of exchange program or a student life activity really go a long way to enhance the sort of overall experience that you have on campus.
I think one of the things that we noticed was, and I'm glad Shin brought it up, is that students tend to be maybe too focused on certain things. And one of the things she mentioned was this stacking of internships. Now, we find that that is not very productive. So we would encourage our students to think through their journey here and make sure that they get cross-sectional experience in everything that we have to offer. It's very rich. So we would probably want to encourage our students to, if in view of them wanting to, say, take up some other opportunities, say the internship, to start their global opportunities journey much earlier. So right now in first year alone, people can go out on short-term programs, right? And if you want to do an exchange, you can also do it in the second semester of the second year. So all this is to ensure that you think through your journey at NUS, as Loke said, and make sure that you avail yourselves of all the opportunities to ensure that you get the best of what NUS has to offer, because we're offering you so much, right? Take advantage of everything, and I think you will leave feeling that you have sampled everything that we have to offer
Mm-hmm.
and come out. I think we will be very happy if you can experience everything we have. Yeah.
I guess there's a lot of choices, and the key point, I guess, what Prof. Lam is saying is that start early, think early. I think the same principle applied to career readiness too. Shin, you want to elaborate more, and also about how does this really benefit them for life skills?
Thank you very much, Professor Go. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I also fully agree with what Professors Wong and Lam have already said.
Mm,
Academics are definitely important, but think beyond that. Think about how you connect, how you think, how you grow, because these are really the life skills that will get you further in your career. The technicals, the hard skills will get you your first job, but what will take you forward beyond that? So we encourage students to start at least having that conversation, that thought process early on in their 4 years at NUS. We do have students who come to see us in their final year, year four, sem two, and they're just starting that conversation. It's good as well, better late than never, of course, but it just means that the runway is very short to get to the point where they feel ready to start
mhm,
their roles.
mhm,
So come and meet us early. We would love to meet with you all at open house as well as in your first
mhm,
semester of your first year so that we'll always be there and you can explore the different resources that are available. I don't think internship stacking is a good idea. It's not productive at all, as I
mhm.
mentioned earlier, but do aim to do at least one because the
Right.
working world is different from what you experience here at university. And through one internship, you already start to see the contrast and you start to interact with industry professionals. You start to understand how to apply the skills you've learned to a real world problem because real world problems ultimately are what we all need to solve, not the theoretical problems.
Mm. I guess, the message here is that we should explore early. We should be open about all these opportunities. But, because we offered so many opportunities, and sometimes students will have difficulty navigating about deciding which is the most suitable opportunity, whether is it student life, study abroad programs, or internship. So what advice do you have for our prospective students here?
Maybe just on the internships, and I'm very
Mm,
happy for my colleagues to chime in. We encourage the students to do at least one internship, but I think the best time to do that is in your penultimate summer. So the summer
mhm,
vacation between years 3 and 4. And the reason for that is, first of all, you've now had 3 years of academic study and you've built up a strong suite of
mm,
skills already. But secondly, because that internship has the highest conversion rate to full-time job offers.
mm,
For students who do well in their penultimate summer internship, it's very easy for a company to offer you a return offer in 1 year's time. But for students who do well in a second year internship, they typically don't get a conversion offer
ah,
because 2 years' time is too far away and the job market could have changed by then. So HR is not in a good position to make an offer to a student who is early on in their academic career. So I would say for internship planning, I think penultimate summer is really the critical one. So if you are looking at things like overseas exchange or some of the global relations programs, your faculty-based graduation requirement internship, try and ensure that it doesn't overlap with that penultimate summer because you do want to keep that option available.
mm. Prof. Lam, you have anything else to add about this?
Well, I think students who think through their
Mhm,
journey from the start and get the
mhm,
appropriate advice from us will be able to find a fit for everything they want to explore. You can make the
mhm,
time, right? And then, of course, you'll develop your time management skills as well. But there is a season and time for everything, right? So
mm,
in the first year itself, you will find that there are short-term programs. I will say, please go, right?
mm,
Just make full use of the opportunity. Then, as you segue through all the way to a final year, right? As Shin Yin says, there will be time for you in the summer to pursue an internship that
mhm,
best translates into a job opportunity. So that
mhm,
would be the optimal thing to do at that point. But it doesn't mean that some of us cannot have different pathways. It's still all possible. So work with us, and we will be able to advise you appropriately. But the point is, think early, right? And know
mhm,
what is on offer so that you can optimize your time here at NUS.
mm. And Prof. Wong?
Yeah, so I think what Prof. Lam had mentioned about thinking early and what Shin also reiterated is important. But at the same time, I think is to keep your options open, be open about different sort of opportunities. And so this is where at the start, it might be useful to spend some time exploring to see what's available. And this is why in the first year, we do provide the first year guide to kind of sort of signpost our students to different opportunities, whether it's a student life activity, whether it's an exchange program, or whether it's a program that's offered by the Centre for Future Ready Graduates. Take that time to kind of explore, and then don't have too much of a fixed sort of mindset from the beginning. While you will roughly know what you want, be open about it and explore different choices, different options. And as you do that, sometimes you will find that you may actually develop a new interest in a new area, and that's fine too. The other thing I think is also important is to maybe speak to staff as well as seniors on campus. I think that's helpful as well because many of us would have our experiences to share from a real world experience as well as from a university experience. So I think all that will then, at the end of the day, contribute to help you make a good and informed decision about what some of the choices are with regard to the plethora of different activities that lie before you. Yeah.
I think Ms. Lee has highlighted a very interesting point about the conversion from internship to having a job. So now let me extend this question a little bit further. Now we all know that from internship. There is a high chance that this may end up as a job as a job offer if the student performs well. Now, how about the other things that the students will get involved in, like student life activities and overseas study abroad opportunities? Do you think that this will actually help in the final employability of the students as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, NUS is a very academically rigorous university. So when we meet students and review their resumes, actually everybody's resume looks really good. And sometimes what employers are looking for is something a little bit more unique about each candidate's journey through NUS. What are the things that really stand out? Overseas exposure is definitely one of those. I mean, Singapore, we live in this beautiful
Right.
but compact, efficient economy. It's not really representative of the region and certainly not the world. So for students who've taken the initiative to step out of that comfort zone, experience something different, learn a new language, be exposed to a different culture, that shows something about the candidate. For students who choose to live on campus and they're very active in hall activities or they represent NUS, perhaps competitively in boxing, for example, again, it shows something different about the candidate. So when we work with students through their resumes and interview preparation, we ask them to think about what brand are you trying to show for yourself? If you were a brand, what would that look like? Would it look like a pattern of academic excellence, which is certainly one aspect they can work on? Or do they also want to combine that with global exposure, with a commitment to holistic development, with competitive sports performance, and a pattern of sporting achievement, for example, a pattern of using technical skills to solve real world problems? It could be any of these. But think beyond just academics. Think about everything else that you could do to benefit yourself in your time at NUS, but to make yourself stand out as a candidate in the application processes as well.
I guess job application process is not exclusive. It doesn't have to be that you are only good in academics or you're only good in non-academics. Your brand should be a combination of all this, and that's why I saw there was some question that I thought maybe I should answer them. There were quite a number of questions that they asked about second major, about minor. Now, second major, minor, then they asked about whether can they do this, when can they apply. Essentially, on the admission application, students, there is a section on interdisciplinary programs, and that one, there are 8 choices. We have curated some package, double major, major minor combinations, but those are not all. And in fact, we have a lot more that after students have come in, like what Prof. Wong said, you should try, Students can try and explore, and after that found their direction. They can pick up a second major of another discipline, of a minor of another discipline. And we are very flexible. You can either follow the package that we have, or you can even curate your own combination. So I think we are fully aligned here, whether is it academics or is it student life or study abroad programs. I thought I should clarify this as well. And in the interest of time, maybe let's invite Prof. Wong and Prof. Lam and Ms. Lee to see whether you have some final advice to the students about their prospective NUS journey. Prof. Lam, will you go first?
Okay, I'm going to have just 2 words. Go global.
Oh, go global. Okay, good. Prof. Wong?
I think it's follow your heart, see what interests you, and then pursue it, and be open and try as many things as possible. And I think that's one way that you can enrich your overall university experience over at NUS as well. Yeah.
Okay, and Ms. Lee?
I would say, similar to Professor Wong, stay open-minded, but learn to become your own strongest supporter. Don't second guess yourself and wonder whether you really belong here, maybe feel a little bit like an imposter. You have to learn to believe in yourself, because ultimately you are the one who's going to advocate for your own progression in your professional journey. So become your own strongest supporter.
Thank you, all three of my colleagues for the wonderful advice. And let me just throw in one last word for this. You know that this is the opportunity of a lifetime for all of you. Take this opportunity, seize the opportunity, and find your extraordinary. So that is what I would say. Okay, thanks very much, everybody. And I'll pass the time back to Alex to close the session.
Thank you, professors and Ms. Lee, for sharing your experience, insights, and sound advice. I hope they have managed to answer your questions and clarify your doubts. With that, we have come to the end of this session. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope this webinar has been helpful. If you have any further questions, please send them through our FAQ portal, which can be found in the chat box shortly. We understand that most of you have signed up for an array of open house events lined up for the rest of the week, and hope that you will have a fruitful time ahead. Do visit us at our respective booths on Saturday, 7th of March. A wide range of talks and activities await you. Find out more information via our links and QR codes provided. We look forward to seeing you on campus. We also greatly appreciate if you could take a few minutes to fill out a feedback form. You may scan the QR code or access the link that we have shared on the chat board. Your feedback is important to us. Please let us know how we can improve. Thank you once again. My colleagues and I look forward to receiving your application and warmly welcoming you to NUS. Have a great day ahead.